Hello friends. So this video is a precursor to the part 2 of the email assistant series, the first video of which I recorded yesterday and uploaded to YouTube. So before we deep do a deep dive into the design and architecture of the email assistant, I thought it would be a good idea to actually understand what an AI agent is, how is it different from an LLM. So basically, to get a grasp of some basic concepts before we do a deep dive on the design and architecture of the email assistant system. So let us start with the fundamentals of what an agent is. So we all have used large language models, right, through apps like ChatGPT, Google Gemini, or Claude. So when we are using a large language model, right, so how is it different from using an agent? So primarily the difference between using a large language model directly, like without any agentic capability, is that large language model is limited uh, in many ways. And when I say limited, I mean that it cannot take actions like making calls to external API, doing web searches, etc. So basically it cannot use external tools and APIs. So it can only answer your question based on whatever data it has been trained on, and that data has got a certain cutoff date. So the LLM has been trained on like most of the internet corpus, most of the knowledge on the internet, but that has got a cutoff date. So if you ask it a question that is not in its knowledge base, then it won't be able to answer that question. I'll show you a demo of that. So this is basically a demo app that I built. It is a wrapper over an LLM. So I'll ask it a question: who is the winner of Wimbledon 2025, and ask this question. So it is basically making an API call to Google Gemini Flash model, and as we can see, it says that it cannot give an answer to this question because for it, like, this is an event of the future. So this is where the limitation of the LLM lies. Now if we ask the same question, let's say to ChatGPT, so to you, like, it might seem that when we are interacting with ChatGPT, we are interacting with a large language model, that is GPT-5. But in fact, this ChatGPT user interface is not only a large language model. So it is actually having agentic behavior. As you could see that when we asked this question, it was able to do a search on the web, and that is what it makes it different from a normal large language model, right? So it can go beyond answering questions from its internal knowledge base, and it can use tools like web search and other tools that you make available, and it can execute those tools and retrieve data. It can use the results of those tool executions to basically achieve whatever objective you have given it. So this is what an AI agent is. So it is an LLM with extended capabilities. Like you give it a number of capabilities that a plain LLM doesn't have, and it has the capacity to use those capabilities to be able to achieve a specific objective. That is the primary difference between a plain LLM and an agent. Okay, so we already discussed that the large language models have got limitations, and agents are able to overcome those limitations uh, of because of the additional capabilities that they possess, which a plain LLM doesn't have. So LLMs are might be good enough if you are using them in a chatbot kind of scenario, but other than that, you do need agentic behavior in most of the use cases, as we saw uh, when we actually use the chat GPT application uh, to get the answer to our question. Okay, so what makes an AI agent intelligent? To answer this question, we need to look at the components of an AI agent. So, primarily, there are four main components that an agent is composed of. The first and foremost component is the LLM core, or you can say the brain of the agent, the reasoning engine that basically processes all the information, plans, makes decisions, right? So this is the brain of the agent. The second important component is the tools and APIs that you make available to the agent. So when I say tools, it it can be an external API, like let's say you want to do a web search, so you can use a search API. You want to query a database, you can write a function, right, uh, as a as a tool. So basically different frameworks give you capabilities to write code and expose them as tools, which you can then make available to your agent, right? So tools and APIs, this is the second main component. Third is the environment, and environment is primarily the interface through which the agent is interacting with the world. So in case of software agents, right, the environment you can understand as the user interface. Primarily you can understand it as the user interface. So for example, in case of chat GPT, we have this web UI. So you give input to chat GPT through this web UI, and the chat GPT gives back its responses on this UI. So that is like the primary interface through which you interact with the agent. So